Hey, what's up guys, MiiKcast here, reviewing a show. Today I got Invincible Season 2. This is going to be a bit weird because half the season came out this year, but the other half came out back in like November. But either way, let's get into it. But before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like the video, become a subscriber, and leave a comment, or I will conquer your planet. So to put in perspective, Invincible Season 1, when that came out, I paid it no attention until it was one day I was scrolling through Amazon. I think I was with one of my friends, and we're like, let's watch something, I don't know. I'm like, oh, let's watch Invincible. I've heard that's pretty good. And we watched the first couple of episodes of Invincible, and then when I got home, I was like, yo, that shit was good. Like, I don't think the other episodes are out yet, but like, I was like, when that shit comes out, like when the other episodes come out, let me watch that. And I thought, with some things I did not like, there's one major thing I didn't like from the first season that I'll get into later because they kind of follow it up in this season. But that, aside from that, I thought it was a near perfect show. I think I gave like a 9.5 or a 9. I'm happy to say Invincible Season 2 is just as good, if not better. The way Season 1 ended was, like, I think they picked up, I think they did a great job picking it up, you know, with after, how the big fight between Omni-Man and Invincible, and, you know, it's Mark, Invincible, of course, Mark and his mom, Debbie, are kind of like grieving over, Nolan, over Omni-Man, but everyone thinks that Omni-Man is dead. Now, they don't know that he flew off, right? So that adds a nice dynamic, I feel, and it's definitely weighty. Like, the season there's a lot of weight to it, I feel. And that stuff was done very well. And they incorporate the multiverse in this season, you know? And I know you probably just groaned because you heard multiverse. And I know a lot of things are doing multiverse. You're probably getting sick of multiverse. But this is doing it very interestingly. It's using multiverse to show what this character is like in other worlds, instead of it just being a cameo fest, you know? That's when people are sick of multiverse, they're sick of like, yo, this is in this alternate universe, look at this, it's that character, you know? This is to show in other universes, Mark has turned into his father, basically. You get the great, you know, when you rewatch the first season, the scene where Mark says to his dad, like, I want to be just like you. Like, when you first watch that, it's like, okay, that's typical superhero stuff. But then you find out who his dad really is. You find out who Omni-Man really is. And you see Mark is, like, unknowingly wants to become that monster. So, throughout this entire season, he's fighting that, you know. He doesn't want to become just like his dad, but there are moments where he feels like he's turning into Omni-Man, and I think that was done very well, especially in that finale. That finale had me on the edge of my seat. I knew they weren't going to kill off Invincible, you know, he's the main character, but like, what was going to happen? Like, I was on the edge of my seat. I'm trying not to get into too heavy spoilers, you know, considering the finale just came out, but yeah, I was on the edge of my seat in that finale. The one thing I didn't like from the first season was the stuff with Amber. You know, it's typical, oh, superhero has to keep his secret identity, but he also has a personal life, and he has a girlfriend, and he can't be with his girlfriend because he's out saving the world, but he doesn't want to tell his girlfriend that he's a superhero. That happened in the first season, but when he revealed to Amber that he was a superhero, she was like, yeah, I knew. But so that makes you think about how she was towards him, and it's like, what a bitch. I wasn't too keen on Mark and Amber getting back together for this season, but I think the way they, like, the struggle that they gave Mark with Amber this season, because Amber's a lot more understanding now. I feel like it kind of feels like they're retconning the fact that she knew that Mark was invincible this whole time, because that does make her character look really bad. Like, that does really damage her character a lot if she knew the whole time. But by giving Mark the struggle of, like, you know, he just can't be with Amber, but having Amber understand, like, you have Amber understand, but you also have her just upset about it, as you should be, you know? But you have her understand because, and especially in the penultimate episode, where, like, that happens. Again, I don't want to get into too heavy spoilers, but, I thought it was done very well. It was a huge step up from the first season. This was my one main issue from the first season, because it didn't make any sense, and once again, it just made Amber look like a total bitch. But, no, in this season, I think they did a great job. Amber's a lot more likable, and yeah, I just enjoyed it a lot more. And, it even got emotional sometimes. And yeah, the emotional, heavy moments in this show, it hits, you know, that finale again, like, they're 2 for 2 with the finales. The finale's like, maybe this season won't be a 10 out of 10. The finale's a 10 out of 10, though. You know, amazing. There's also a lot of characters in this show. And I mean a lot of characters. And a lot of them have their own little plots going on. Like, you got Mark and his, relationship with his mom. You got Mark and his relationship with Amber. You got Mark and his stuff as Invincible. So that's like 3 different storylines with Mark right there. You got with the stuff with Eve. You got the stuff with Rex. You got the stuff with Immortal, Cecil. You got the entire Guardians of the Globe. You got the Monster Girl and the Robot Kid that are dating now. You have so much going on. And it manages to balance it all. Like, this show manages to take all these plot lines and have them work together. You know, because a lot of them kind of intertwine. So that definitely helps. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of characters, and I feel like most shows would get lost in all the characters. But I never felt like when we ever got back to a certain plot line, I was like, oh, right, you exist, you know? That's, I don't mean to compare this to the Marvel shows, but when I think of doing a whole bunch of plot lines and not being able to balance them, I think of the MCU shows. They always have a lot going on. It's mainly because there's 6 episodes, but they usually have a lot going on in those episodes, and they don't balance it well at all. It's different here because it's like 8 episodes that are like 40 to 50 minutes. I think there might be one that's like an hour. Maybe even 2 that's like an hour. What I'm saying is they're able to balance it. There's a lot of characters, way more characters than not even named. And they balance it. And one character that I think has grown on me is Rex. I thought he was really annoying in the first season. I think that was by design. I think he was written to be annoying, but like, they gave him a very annoying voice where he just yaps. And but in the first season, I just did not like Rex. He grew on me this season. He had a few cool moments, if you've seen it, but he just really grew on me. I feel like I can't talk about this show without talking about the violence. Now, I'm not saying the violence is the best part of the show, because, like, violence, if it's not, violence could just be there, and it could be a distraction to. Maybe you don't have good storytelling, so 2 characters are fighting, but there's not a good storytelling reason for them to fight. But it's like, hey, don't worry about that, there's blood. But there is a good story here. So when you get 2 characters fighting and they're beating the shit out of each other, and there's blood everywhere, people's limbs are getting cut off, like, it feels like real, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's way more engaging, like, you're glued to your screen way more, but you're also kind of flinching at the same time, just because it is, like, the brutality is crazy. And that's a good thing, because, you know, when someone dies in the show, it's not just like, oh, you know, he just died. It's like, no, he got fucking mutilated, right? Especially in that finale. I keep bringing up the finale, but, like, especially in that finale. As for stuff I didn't like, the one thing that comes to mind that I didn't really love, I was about to say something else, but that's something else I'll talk about, but it's something more surrounding the show. But I guess there is, like, some scenes, there's some moments that don't really Like, there is one scene in the finale that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't really know what importance it had. Like, I don't know why it was there. But the issue that surrounded the show for me was the mid-season break. It felt unnecessary, and the show had this season had a lot of momentum after episode 4, you know, and then after that they took like 3 months off. And I just don't understand what the reasoning was. Like, there's a lot that comes out during the holidays, but it's like, you got the momentum, you know. You just completely stop your momentum. You halt your momentum by stopping the show. Again, it didn't make the show necessarily worse. It made the experience watching it a little, I don't even want to say bad. It just kind of, it like, again, you just stop the momentum. I'm telling you. See, I remember episode 4 was a fucking banger. That episode was amazing. And then we didn't get another episode for like 3 months. But other than that, I don't have much to complain about with this season of Invincible. It had like an arc, a season-long arc, but it also set up a bunch of stuff for the next season, which it already, a while ago, it already got greenlit for a season 3. There's a lot of directions they can go. I like what they're doing with Mark right now, about like, you know, he doesn't want to turn into his father. And I even talk about the stuff with Omni-Man. He does show up in this season, and what they do with him is not exactly what I was expecting. I've never watched or never read the comics, but I did find out a bit about like what he does in the comics at this point in the show. Even then, it's still not exactly what I was expecting, and and that's a good thing. I'm very interested to see where this goes, but this season is incredible. In the end, I'm gonna give Invincible season 2. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do this, but fuck it. I'm gonna give Invincible season 2 a 10 out of 10. So that's my review for Invincible season 2. What do you guys think? This has got to be. This show is on a roll, you know. And Amazon's doing a great job with these violent superhero shows. I say that as I haven't watched The Boys, but from what I've heard, I'm not wrong. What do you guys think of What do you guys think of Invincible season 2? What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? Not agree with me? Have you seen it? Not seen it? If you haven't seen it, do you guys want to see it? Not want to see it? Anything about this show? Let me know down below. Anyways, if you like the video, come subscribe, or I will conquer your planet. I don't know if you hear that. That's a bird in the back. Bye.